What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers, bringing you guys your daily hail forecast, sponsored as always by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, American Contractor, and Atlas. Go ahead and check them out in the description to this video. They are linked there for you guys. So we've got plain storms ongoing right now. If you guys are in Oklahoma or Texas, got a lot of cloud cover going on and we're going to get into it, but that could potentially impact our ability to see stronger storms later this afternoon. So we're going to look at today's setup. Texas-sized hail is still possible. So for you guys down in the southern part of our risk area, we could still see some very large hail tonight. It's just going to be very conditional, and so we're going to get into all of that. And then we've got another chance for Texas hail yet again tomorrow, as well as parts of the southeast and the far north plains. So our risks are kind of all over for the next couple of days, but we're going to get into all of it as usual. So if you guys are in the central plains right now, here's kind of what we got setting up. This first trough is moving out into the Atlantic, making some room for this next one to make its way through. Now we do have a ridge in the central part of the U.S., and with that, we got a couple of little bubbles that are making their way through. So shortwave troughs coming off of this major trough, and as that makes its way through the central states, we could potentially see storms associated with that. So that's storm initiation, and then into tomorrow afternoon, we'll have that tracking off to the east, and more shortwave troughs coming off of it there, and a cold front that could potentially get us some storms back in Central Plains, South Texas, etc. Then as it continues off, we could see some more storms on Saturday, and it's all just going to be these little tiny troughs coming off of this major one that get us any storm chances for the next few days. So we'll stay tuned. We'll keep you guys updated on what's happening into the weekend. So right now, like I said, a lot of cloud cover, some rain happening through the central plains, and then in the Pacific Northwest, we do have more cloud cover and more storms expected to move through with that little low pressure system that's just kind of lingering over the area. Going to have some rain and showers developing throughout the day, and then we could potentially see some severe storms, wind, and hail going on later. Then for the bulk of our risk area, that is going to come from Kansas all the way down into Texas, where we have all of this rain moving through right now. We got it at the Hail Palace, got a ton of rumbles of thunder, lots of heavy rain and street flooding going on right now. And what that's going to do is it's just going to cool the area behind it, and that could potentially inhibit stronger storms from forming through the area. So we're going to watch all of this as it develops into there, but that could potentially block our larger hail chances. So we got to keep an eye on it, hope that that clears out into this afternoon. So right now, 81 degrees in Houston, 78 in Dallas, still nice and warm across most of the nation here. You're sitting in the 60s and 70s for us, so enough to get us some severe thunderstorms. And then in terms of dew points, also super muggy, 75 degrees in Corpus Christi, 57 up in Oklahoma City, and rainy, so plenty of humidity as well. We've got that upper air disturbance. It's just, can we get this cloud cover and these rain showers to clear out before these storms develop. So here's our instability, and this takes that into account here. So we don't have a ton of it through western Oklahoma by 5 p.m. That's going to be storm initiation. But there is enough to potentially get us some severe hail all the way down into southern Texas, and that's where things pick up in terms of our most instability, largest hail possible down through that corridor. So we're going to be watching that, and then it should clear out as those storms develop through the area, and we'll have a resurgence tomorrow, which we'll get to in a second. But for our forecast max hail size, I do think we could see some tennis balls today. It's going to be very limited, and it's going to be with those initial storms developing. Then when storm modes change a little bit, that's where it could be different. Now, if you guys are up in the Pacific Northwest, I don't want to leave you out of things, and you guys will have a chance for severe wind and hail, but it's likely going to be smaller and more scattered. Gusts possible with any of these storms developing through the area, and then our severe hail is possible right up in the northern corridor there. We've got a little pocket of instability, enough for you guys to potentially see some quarters to half dollars through this afternoon and evening as those storms make our way through. But for the majority of us, just some gusty winds here and there for the Pacific Northwest before those start to taper off into the overnight hours. Now down south, totally different story. So here's our storms developing along the Red River here around the Lawton area by around 5 p.m. A couple of those and some in South Texas could potentially be producing that tennis ball sized hail right off the bat. And then as they track off to the east, now they're making a run at the 35 corridor. We see those quickly banding up, forming those clusters of storms. Now we're going to see more of a wind threat, and our hail size is going to start to taper off. So we could potentially still be seeing some severe hail through that region, but now we're looking at potential for strong winds, as well as those storms potentially move south of Oklahoma City and then off into Arkansas, into Louisiana overnight. And we'll have more for you guys through this region into tomorrow. So for our hail forecast for today, looking at both of those areas, quarters to $half possible anywhere from Nebraska down into Texas, where we've got those storms developing, and then again for that northern pocket up in the Pacific Northwest today. So if you guys are around Spokane, that's the best area to potentially see quarters to maybe a couple of $half through the region, and then down into the plains. The north end here, where we're close to that disturbance, could potentially get some quarters to $half, but we're not getting that Gulf instability to really get us any larger hail possible. So if you guys are in North Platte all the way down into Fort Smith, low end chance for you guys to see hail, and it's likely going to stay around quarter size. Then down into Texas, again, that's where the large hail is possible, specifically for the Wichita Falls area all the way down to San Angelo, where those storms are initially developing. And then, as they track eastward in South Texas, down in San Antonio, Laredo, you guys could also see some large hail with those storms kind of hanging on to that instability that's left over through South Texas. But if you're in Oklahoma City, Fort Smith, all the way down into Waco, things do look like they'll be shifting into different storm modes, more conducive to wind, and we'll be losing our instability as the evening goes on. So that's kind of the news for hail today. And then into wind, we've got a larger area here through the Pacific Northwest to account for the rest of those storms that are going on, and then our plains risk. So again, if you guys now are all the way from Salt Lake City up to Spokane, could see some gusty winds there with any of those scattered storms moving through the area. And then same deal, if you guys are in the Central Plains from Nebraska down into Oklahoma, low end chance for you guys to see a couple of scattered wind gusts here and there reaching 60 miles an hour. Down in Texas, we'll have more storm coverage, but initially things are going to be more isolated through Wichita Falls down into San Angelo area, so low end chance for you. And then things, again, will be weakening as we lose that daytime instability once they move towards the 35 corridor. So low end chance across the board today for strong winds. And then for tornadoes, we still do have a risk. It's going to be in western Oklahoma from pretty much Wichita Falls into Oklahoma City. Low end chance for both, but that is currently where we're seeing a couple of isolated supercells tracking through with enough instability and with enough wind shear to potentially produce a couple of tornadoes through that region. So low end chance for both of you guys. So that's today. Then into tomorrow, we'll have part 2. So now things are going to be moving east, and we could potentially see some more storms tracking through Arkansas and Louisiana, and then another initiation of storms through Texas and through parts of Nebraska and Kansas. So 5 p.m. is when the northern part of the risk should start up, and we do have enough of our significant hail model, enough instability in the area to potentially get us some good hail. Then things are going to start up in Texas a little later, maybe around 8 p.m., and seeing values pick up around there as well. If you guys are new to this product, it basically just takes all the environmental factors in place and says what our chances are to get large hail through the area. So the higher they are, the better that is. And down in Texas around storm initiation, we've got some low to moderate values. So there's a decent enough chance that we could see some large hail based on that. So taking a look at now how storms are going to play out. If you guys are up in Nebraska, clear morning, but then a couple of isolated supercells forming along the I-80 corridor and just south of the South Dakota border there. Could get some large hail out of those. And then clustering up pretty quick, moving off to the east, and we'll see a wind threat with the remainder of that into your Friday night and Saturday morning. Then down south, by noon, we got the remnants of today's storms tracking down into Mississippi, into Louisiana. A couple of those could produce some scattered hailstones, quarters to $half, and some gusty winds as well. Then we're going to have a little brief break in between those storms and when the Texas storms start up along I-35. Now, this particular model shows things staying up north, near Dallas, near the Red River. A couple other models are showing things forming down south. And we do have that disturbance moving through the whole area. We do have instability through that whole region. So it's possible we could get some hail along 35, anywhere from San Antonio up to the Red River. So we're going to account for that, and we'll update you guys tomorrow, so stay tuned. But those initial storms forming might pass through Dallas-Fort Worth into tomorrow, and then up along the highway there, a couple of isolated supercells roaming through southwest Oklahoma could produce some large hail for you guys, or southeast Oklahoma, and then tracking off to the east, dissipating pretty quickly. So quick turnaround on our risk for tomorrow, but still a chance for some large hail. So to include that for you guys in Texas, and then a couple of quarters possible through Nebraska and through the southeast into tomorrow. So if you're in or around North Platte or Nebraska, that's our risk for tomorrow for your large hail, and then off into the southeast. We got the remnants of that first storm system at quarters to $50 possible anywhere from Little Rock down into New Orleans with that, and then the largest hail possible just west of the 35 corridor with storm initiation, kind of like today. Going to track quickly off to the east towards DFW all the way down to San Antonio possible, with that hail starting to taper off in size as it moves past the 35 area. So a couple of rounds of large hail possible for the next 2 days, specifically down in the Texas area. So if you guys are in either of those risks, stay tuned for the next 48 hours. As far as wind goes, again, North Platte, even parts of Colorado now. So for our Colorado viewers, hey, there you go. But down in North Platte, got some low end chances for storm risks for you guys into tomorrow. And then down through Oklahoma, or through Texas, parts of Oklahoma, and then the southeast, low end chance for wind gusts for you guys as well, for DFW, down to San Antonio, Little Rock, down into New Orleans. Then finally for our tornado forecast, anywhere from DFW to Waco. So initial storm development with the chance for rotation, kind of similar to what we're seeing today, could potentially get us a tornado or two through that area. And we'll update you guys on the specifics of tomorrow's risk as well as things start to get a little bit more clear. But this is what we have for you guys for tomorrow. So that's what we got for today. If you guys are in any of those risk areas, again, time to turn on those weather alerts and stay tuned. You guys can follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. We went live on TikTok for our first time today, so that's neat. Go ahead and follow us there. And it's Hail Trace at Everything, easy to find. Hit see first on Facebook so you never miss our live videos. Smash that subscribe button on everything else. Then if you want to get in contact with us, you can go ahead and scan that QR code up above me or click the link in our description.